Broad Street.
Oh my God, the Eagles did something. Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the podcast of the Fly Eagles Fly podcast. It's our 78th, 94th, 114th, whatever it is. It's a lot of them, Jay. So welcome to the Fly Eagles Fly podcast here on the Broad Street Misery Network. Don't forget to catch us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, all those good things, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We hope to see you every week as we come to more of a consistent basis in August. But we'll be here through free agency, and we'll also be here next month for the April draft. As always, I'm Corey Alexander along with
Jay Bliss.
And we are going to wrap up-ish free agency, Jay, because free agency is still in flux. Even through really August, who we talking? Nothing's ever finalized until that 53 finalized. And even then, Howie likes to make some changes, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's got all kinds of stuff. I'm going to go through. So we got a lot to talk about. There's still a lot going on in free agency, and I think we are coming more into focus as we get closer to the draft. I think everything's going to be in flux with AJ. You haven't definitely gone. There's still people that clinging to hope. So
why? Let's have this conversation now. Let's talk to the people. Let's talk to the Eagles fans, the diehard Eagles fans, the people that yell "Go Birds." Just please.
Let me throw this at you because this is the latest that I saw. So this is the latest I saw, and get your thoughts on this. Well, I mean, you gotta, listen. I understand where you're coming from, but you aren't Howie Roseman. You're not the be all end all. I get what your opinion is.
It's the facts. It's not. It has nothing to do with Howie Roseman. It has nothing to do with anything. Like what you have to understand. This is the part that I don't know if you're going to bring this up or not. But when Hollywood Brown got signed by the Eagles, and he came in. And they asked him questions about him working with Devontae and him working with AJ and everything like that. His response was, AJ got to do what AJ got to do. That right there lets me know, welcome to the team, dog, but I'm not going to be there. Like that's letting you know he's not going to be here.
Wait. Roll that back again because you confused me there because you were talking about Hollywood Brown. All of a sudden,
Hollywood Brown got signed.
Right.
They asked him, what does he feel about being able to work with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown? And A.J. Brown, possible trade rumors. His response was, A.J. is going to have to do what A.J. is going to have to do. Now, when a receiver or any player gets to the team, they meet or they talk, they chat, they get on the phone, they tweet, they do other things, and they have these conversations. So if Holly Brown gets to the Eagles and he reaches out to AJ, like, hey man, like we about to put this work in. AJ had to say something to him.
Hey man, don't forget the conversation we had 2 years ago. What was that? Devin White. He said we're gonna put the work in, all that kind of stuff, and that guy was cut.
Like hold each other accountable, and he didn't even start. but like I want people to get off of the whole like, oh he gonna come back. Like you don't want him on the team. Like you don't forget what happened last year. Like don't forget him lollygagging off the field and Sirianni having to tell him, hey, get off the field before we get a flag, and he jarring at Sirianni. Sirianni like wiped it off like, oh, he's just being a competitor. We're both competitors or whatever. This dude was mouthing off at the coach. That's no different than Andy Reid telling T.O. to be quiet, and he like, yo, you be quiet. You don't need somebody like that in the locker room.
Or like somebody carrying a beer into the dugout in the 8th inning.
Right. Well, we talk. Yeah. Well, that's the Phillies, but that's what I'm saying. Like you don't. Like,
well, I'm saying it mirrors that whole thing. Like when you disrespect the coach, it's about time you got to go.
Like, listen, man. Like, thank you for the 4 years that you was here. Like, you got the 2 Super Bowls. You won a Super Bowl. You were a great receiver. Like nobody can deny the talent that you have, right? But if you're that number one guy and you're not all the way in, then you're really not a number one guy. You're just another player. And depending on your mood or how you really feel, depends on how you're going to play. And I don't need that. I don't need somebody out there that's going to be like giving half effort. That's how Eagle fans are. If you giving your all, we're always gonna be behind you. If you give it half-ass effort, we like, man, bump you.
I know people out there going, so AJ's definitely gone. Isn't this Jay Bliss the same guy who said San Francisco Eagles? Pfft, not even worried about this.
I'm just saying. I
know. I heard you saying, and I agree with you. Here's the thing. I agree with you. Let me just cut you off for one sec, because here's the ripple that I don't think you know about yet. Not that AJ's staying, but here's some things that I looked into. So after serious conversations, this is where we are with AJ from all the insiders, whatever you want to call it. After serious conversations with both the Rams and Patriots, the Eagles will not trade A.J. Brown at this time, most likely waiting until after June 1st. Mm-hmm. Both teams remain interested, but no movement is imminent. If a trade were to happen, it's most likely going to happen after June 1st. Rams have been rumored to have dropped out since, but it remains fluid. So Adam Schefter believes A.J. Brown's camp has conveyed, it's not been confirmed, but it's been rumored that it has been conveyed to the Eagles that A.J. would rather be somewhere else. He did not express a trade for sure, but his team mentioned it would probably be better that AJ and Eagles not be together next year. Now, a couple of people believe that AJ will be traded just because AJ would prefer to be on another team, but it's not impossible that he stays because the Eagles and AJ have talked. I know you shake your head. I know. Hold on. Let's listen to the whole thing. This is like my cousin Vinny. Just listen to the whole thing before you shake your head. Adam Schefter said recently on John and Kincaid show that he does believe AJ will go, but it's not a guarantee. Now, it's, believe it or not, it looks like Eagles are the biggest reason is they're holding on to him to June 1st. And we both talked about this because $40 million drops to $20 million after June 1st. And that's huge. And they need to sign Jalen Carter. So I believe the reason Jalen Carter has not been signed, but will sign is after June 1st.
Well, let me go off on that too. It's not guaranteed that Jalen Carter is getting his money this year.
It's not, but
like he can play on that contract, right?
So here's the deal. So he is going into year 4 of year 5 contract. Now, the deadline is also June 1st for extending the 5-year contract, and that applies to Jalen Carter. And it also applies to Nolan Smith.
Right.
So I do believe both will get the extension. There's no doubt that Jalen Carter will. Nolan Smith will probably get it because they want to see what he wants to do. And it probably won't be too expensive to have him around for like 14, 15 million for what he's going to do. And I think the Eagles are not going to sign Nolan Smith until next year, if at all. They got to see what he can do. He's got to do something consistently without being injured.
Right.
My feeling is that they kick in the 5th-year option. They do sign him this summer because remember, both shoulders are better now. He had some stuff worked on it. He could be a monster this year and get closer to 40. I think they're going to try and sign him earlier for like 32, 33.
But here's the thing. Even if they wait and give him 40 the next year, like, because it'll be at 40 the next year anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they're trying to save money by giving him 32 or 33, right? But the thing about it is like, you're not letting him go. Like, you're going to keep him, right?
Right.
But like the whole AJ thing, the only thing that AJ is June 1st is because it's 20 million more if you do it beforehand.
Dead cap.
Yeah, dead cap. So, I mean, he's not. Here's the thing. They had an interview with Darius Slay. And Darius Slay did a podcast, and they was asking him about after retiring and what happened with the whole situation when he got released from Pittsburgh, and he was a free agent, and he was thinking about coming back to the Eagles. Well, Buffalo was on the phone with the agent, and he was telling Buffalo, like, don't do it, don't take me, like I don't want to play.
I heard that.
I want to go back to Philly. Like, He was basically saying where he wanted to go. Don't do it.
He was on his way to the Chargers game with the Eagles.
And they did it anyway. And he was like, I'm retiring. Like, I don't know why y'all even did. And that's what I'm saying. That's the same thing with AJ. You can say you're gonna keep him, and they be like, oh well, you just gonna come back to the Eagles. He gonna be like, I don't want to do this. Like, why would you want somebody like that in your locker room? I mean, everybody like, oh, but they won a Super Bowl. He don't want to be here, and that's fine.
I think so. With Jalen Carter, getting back to Jalen Carter, I think that's what they're going to try and do, because if they do the AJ Brady trial now, it's 40 million dead cap hit this year, all in 1 year.
Yeah.
The 20 million, you're locked up, by the way. I don't know if you want to refresh.
Yeah, let me jump out and jump back in.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. And we'll give a pause for station identification here on the Broad Street Misery Network. Also, we're going to get to all these different Eagles updates. By the way, the Eagles do conduct their 3-day rookie camps after the draft from May 2nd to May 4th. They may move it to May 9th to May 11th. I think it depends on their after draft signing. Some of them can't make it until at least May 9th because of graduation and all that kind of crap. And I'm sorry, I was incorrect. As my producer pointed out, NFL teams have till May 1st is the deadline, not June 1st, to exercise the 5th-year option on players selected in the first round of 2023. Again, that is for Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. Curious to think what you guys feel if they would lock up Nolan Smith earlier than later. Do you think he deserves a 5th-year option? I think he would, but we'll go from there. All right, you're back. Cool.
Yeah.
My biggest thing, again, I think it's all $40 million in 1 year versus after June 1st, it's $20 million. So it's half the money, and you can spread $10 million in 2026 and $10 million in 2027. Mm-hmm. So that's a huge difference between $40 million locking you up this year,
right?
Which is why they couldn't spend any money, or is it 10 and 10? So that's the biggest thing. So you're right. I mean, if he's going, he's going, but there's no reason to not wait and be like, look, if we have to settle for a first and a third, and we have to give up a fourth to get the first and third, so be it. We're not going to get a first and second.
Right.
I'm fine with that. Right. Because if that gives you cap flexibility, that's worth every dime and what it is.
Right. But here's the thing that ticks me off about the whole situation, right? It's like you and your attitude and you and your disappointment with the team, so to speak, has put us in a bind that Howie doesn't put himself in. Like he's foreseeing all this stuff. He's like, yo, we're giving this money now, boom, boom, boom. This is how it's gonna work. This is how it's gonna progress. Then you come in like, I don't want to be here. I'm not happy. Now you put a monkey wrench in the whole situation, right? All because you aren't happy, right? Everybody else is fine. Everybody else is living. Everybody else is doing what they got to do. But like I said, you stand up at that Super Bowl parade. They call me a diva, but then they call me Super Bowl. You're still a diva, bro. You still a diva. I don't care. I want somebody to tag him on this, dude. It's all about you right now.
Here's the other.
There's nobody else complaining.
Right.
Nobody else. You're the only one complaining. The only one.
And here's the other aspect of that whole thing is that, this is where I think it's not only a diva, but I do think there's some, and I'm just guessing. I'm not trying to put shade on anybody, but at the same time, it has come out himself. Like he was contemplating suicide at one point. He's had a lot of run-ins, both with the Titans and the way he wanted to practice and the way he wanted to do things, and the Eagles. So he's kind of an issue already. And I'm not saying it's Antonio Brown level, but there's some level when you get to that kind of elite wide receiver that there's some mental thing going on, whether it's mental illness or just you're a little off or you're a diva, or you got the ego thing. But when you've contemplated suicide and you've talked about depression and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't go away like that.
Well, here's the thing. I liken it to somebody trying to save a relationship that's bound to fail.
But this is, I mean, you're talking about the other side. I'm talking about, the mental aspect of this.
I get it. But so I'm gonna break it down and use analogies like we do as comedians, right? Analogy wise, right? I don't care what you do, bro. She ain't gonna be happy.
But is that
you better off cutting your ties and letting her be? Right. Like don't try to justify it. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to say, oh, what if we do this? What if we do that? I don't care if they gave him $100 million a year. He's not happy.
All right. So
it might not just be the Eagles. He just might not be happy.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So it's the mental aspect, because it's not just a question of like they would get along or something like that, or your girlfriend would come back to you and get along. It's like there could be a mental illness there or block that they're just never going to be happy with anything.
They're not. And even when he if he goes to the Patriots, it'll be 6 months maybe.
And he won't be happy. Of course.
He'll be unhappy again.
Yeah, because Drake May's going to throw to other people, and he'd be like, dude, if I'm just got to run my routes.
Let me tell you something. Y'all heard it here today. Patriots don't make the playoffs next year.
with AJ
with
Brown. I believe
AJ Brown or not. They don't.
Okay.
They were a product of an easy schedule. Chalk it up and understand that's what it was.
All right, so let's get into deeper into beyond AJ. The first domino of the offseason started with the fall of your boy, the firing of.
Oh, you talking about Kevin Patullo?
There you go.
Yeah.
Who the team replaced with first-time coordinator Sean Mannion. Eagles surrounded him with a new addition. So here's some updates. Josh Grizzard is the passing game coordinator who takes over for where originally before his turn at coordinator. That's what Kevin Patullo was, his passing game coordinator. So now it's Josh Grizzard, who was the former offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay, which was no slouch of an offense. Gerard Johnson, who they also interviewed for the OC. They interviewed Josh Grizzard, by the way, for the OC job. They interviewed Gerard Johnson for the OC job, who decided to come to the Eagles anyway as the senior assistant / special projects for the head coach. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Gerard Johnson's going to also work with Jalen Hurts as possibly the QB coach.
Yeah.
Because I think Gerard Johnson has some sort of connection to Hurts, or at least he has a connection being a QB coach down in Houston. Ryan Mahaffrey is the run game coordinator, tight ends, and Chris Cooper, the new offensive line coach who came from Minnesota, will be replacing Jeff Stoutland. Speaking of Jeff Stoutland, did you hear this week? Lane Johnson said that Jeff Stoutland is going to be with the Eagles in some capacity this year. I don't believe it, but that's from his own lips. What are your thoughts?
Listen, man, if you walk out the door, if you take your ball and go home, go home. Don't come back hanging around the field, hanging around the court after you walked off. Hey, man, ain't nobody you just waiting for somebody to say, come on back and play. Nah, man, you took your ball left. We got another ball, and we good now. You good. You know what I'm saying? You thought we was going to run after you, and we not.
Hey, Jay, can I fill in? Could I be the fifth?
There was no reason why you left. You left because they was going to take one game coordination away from you, right? But here's the thing. Let's put it all out on the board. It's like the movie Harlem Nights.
Oh,
Are you in charge of the girls? I am in charge of the girls. You in charge of the girls, yeah. Well, something wrong with the math because either you and the girls always come up short. Now, here's the thing. You the run game coordinator, right? You in charge of the run game, right? Run game didn't work last year. You had Saquon Barkley who rushed for 2,000 yards the year before, and now he didn't run for nothing, and we was getting up the middle, 2 yards, negative plays every first down for every game. And you were the run game coordinator. So guess what? It's your fault.
It wasn't. It's all his fault. And
we're going to take this away from you. We're going to take this away from you because we didn't do good. Well, I'm going to take my ball and go home. Bye.
You always jerking on the white people, man. I don't
Deuces. Deuces, white boy.
You can't wait to get rid of white people. Get out of here, man. We also lost Christian Parker taking the coordinator job at Dallas. That kind of sucks.
Deuces, black dude. Deuces.
Guys, there's nobody left.
I didn't want him to leave, though. I didn't want him to leave.
We got to get some Hispanics or something. Get the Hispanic guy out there.
Listen. Let's go on back to. Let's not go back to this. Let's not go back to Hispanics because we had an offensive line coach as a defensive coordinator.
Jim, look him up. What is his name? God, I'd like to know. All right, so let's
Juan Castillo. That's who
Juan Castillo. That's right. Okay. God, I love Juan. Juan, ask Juan because he's Castillo. All right, so that's all the coordinate. That's all the coach information. Now let's get to the signing. So Eagles did sign Reek.
Yeah.
And he's got to get a new first name. All right,
Eagles. Man, that's perfect. Tariq is a great name.
The Eagles filled the Adoree Jackson spot by bringing in Woolen. We'll see if that's going to work out. I think that'll be a really good job. Hollywood Brown is still in his late 20s, still fast, can still stretch the field. It's possible he is going to fill in at A.J. Brown opposite Devontae Smith. I see that Hollywood Brown could have a big year with or without A.J. and be signed for a couple of years into his early 30s at a team-friendly contract if he really likes it here. I could see that lasting beyond 1 year.
Question.
Because here's the other thing, too, by the way, real fast. Hollywood Brown is not a slot player.
No. So, but question for you.
Go ahead.
Do you like Dotson better or Hollywood Brown?
Here's what's going to happen, is my opinion, based on what Manning's going to do. Manning's going to have a lot of 2 tight end sets, 2 wide receiver sets, so a lot of 12 sets.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I believe when they go to an 11 set, I do believe that Devontae Smith is going to play a whole lot of slot this year. I think Devontae really thrives in the slot. And I think Brown will be on the outside.
Dude.
What's that?
Devontae in the slot is dangerous. He's not that big. Like, you can't be fit on the slot.
I get it. But I just feel like, because Hollywood Brown, he is not a slot receiver. He's not built for the slot. He doesn't like the slot. It's not him. So could they put him there and it'll work a little bit? Sure. But I believe that Devontae Smith is going to be in there more than Brown will be. Is he an upgrade over to Hodson? Absolutely. Because Jahan Dotson also was not a slot. He wasn't built for the slot. He doesn't know the slot. He doesn't.
So, do you see Cooper going into the slot?
I see he's a big dude and he can handle the middle of the field. So that could be it.
That makes more sense to me than Devontae. The other thing is, what's up with Johnny Wilson?
That dude is another tight end. He's 6'7". He's like 210. So he's not built for the slot.
6'7"?
He's not fast.
6'7".
6'7". So I believe Johnny Wilson will come back, but he'll be an outside guy. I think you're right. Maybe Cooper is the guy. And it's Demarius Cooper, in case you wouldn't know who that was.
I think Cooper could be the guy. I mean, he did show up in training camp, right? He didn't get on the field much. And when he did get on the field, he had a couple of drops. He
wasn't great. There was times where he wasn't good.
But he was great in the preseason, right? But let's think back to our receiver history and how.
Okay, so hold on there for a second. So let me pause you. So as a part of this whole equation, and first and foremost, we're not talking about DeJean Cooper DeJean. We're talking about Demarius Cooper as.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
You're confusing people out there.
My bad.
People are like, who the hell? Why is Cooper playing wide receiver?
No.
The other aspect that you didn't talk about that I'm going to bring up right now. Here's another aspect that will go in the slot, which may solve all of our problems, which may put Cooper and Wilson at 4 and 5. Eagles signed Elijah Moore to a 1-year contract a few minutes ago. Listen, before you shake your head. Listen to the whole thing before you shake your head. I feel like I have to be Joe Pesci every time with you. Just listen to the whole thing before you shake your head.
But go ahead. That's a body, but go ahead.
Find that clip, Jim. Find that clip and show that to him. Like, dude, wait, hold on for a minute before you shake your head. Listen to the whole thing. Elijah Moore will probably not even make the team, but he is a slot candidate, number one. Number two, there is no doubt the Eagles will be drafting a wide receiver in this draft that's going to be an X or a Y. It's not going to be a slot. So, or can play both. And there's a guy from, I believe, UCLA that they just talked about today that could be that guy, can play both the slot as well as the Y.
All right.
So if they draft him, it is. But do you get that guy who is like one of the top 3 wide receivers? If it falls to you at 23, do you get one of the top wide receivers, or do you stick with your board and get the offensive tackle to fill in for Lane Johnson?
I think the Eagles take offensive tackle in the first.
No matter what.
I don't. No matter what. I don't see them. I don't see them with the sexy pick, right? Like the big splash offensive player. Like I think we stick to our disciplines. Like I think, because what happens is, if let's say something weird happens, right? And they it's a run of a whole bunch of defensive players in the beginning of the draft, right? And then all of a sudden you get down to the 20s, and then all of a sudden this dude is there. Like the guy is there. That's the only thing I think they say, yes, take them now.
Correct. I agree.
However, if it's going chalk and they be like, nah, we're just going to take the offensive lineman, because the offensive lineman is going to serve you way more than a receiver.
True, absolutely.
So, and depending and based off of what our need is, our offensive line was trash last year, not the receiving core. So
yeah, our offensive line was trash, but yet it was Stoutland's fault. We had a terrible run game.
Well, but that's the thing. You can't. We are a running team. We've been that for the last 7 years.
And we still will be, absolutely.
And if we're not running, we still won 11 games. That's the part I'm trying to get people to understand. We still won 11 games
with a trash offensive line.
Playing trash, like playing horribly. We still won 11 games. That's why people don't understand how good this team really is. This team really, I think next year, if they got us at 11, like bet the over. Like we're going to win more than 11 games next year. Like with the schedule that we have, like, there's no question in my mind, unless like it's a huge injury from somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see us not being able to do that.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So let's get through all this stuff real fast of all the offseason moves. So we'll try not to get too deep in each one of these. So we do have Hollywood Brown. We did sign Elijah Moore. Now, here's the thing about Elijah Moore. A couple of things. Guess who he played college ball with next to?
I don't know who.
A.J. Brown.
He was
A.J. Brown and Elijah Moore both played at Ole Miss.
He was at Ole Miss, really?
With both together at the same time.
Okay.
I know. So here's the thing. Joe Douglas, who's now the Eagles' senior personnel director, Joe Douglas, he actually drafted Elijah Moore for the Jets, and he was terrible with the Jets. But then he went to Cleveland, and in 2 years, he caught 120 passes for 1,100 yards in 2 seasons with the Browns. So he was magnificent with the Browns, terrible with the Jets. I can't even understand that.
Come on, bro.
With the Browns.
Who's great with the Jets?
Who's great with the Browns? The Browns had like 17 quarterbacks.
Hey, man, listen. I
they were terrible.
Listen, I could play plenty of great players that play for the Browns.
Defensively, not offensively. Name me 3 offensive players for the Browns.
Tomato.
Name me 3 offensive players for the Browns. You can't do it. The only bad part is he played with the Bills last year with the great Josh Allen. He collected a total of 9 passes in 9 games. So not good. We'll see what happens with that. Eagles also signed tight end Johnny Munt. Don't call him Munt, a little Munt cake. He was released by Jacksonville and should provide a good blocking boost. But he is old. He's 31. Jonathan Jones, cornerback, a veteran who gives the Eagles depth in the secondary. I believe he'll probably be about 4th or 5th as a veteran cornerback. So that's a nice pickup. Arnold Ibikite has some tools to make an impact, but maybe a more rotational piece.
From Atlanta,
more on him in a little bit because I have some background to him. Dameon Pierce
running back.
Out went A.J. Dillon. In comes Pierce. Pierce should be able to fill a similar role as A.J. as well as he's actually a return guy. So
I heard from one of the commentators, Eagles vlogger, state that Pierce, she sees Pierce as a competition for Shipley.
That's what I too.
Yeah. So shout out to Simone with the sports because she's great.
Because here's the thing. Dameon Pierce, his rookie year, ran for almost 1,000 yards in the
100%. So like, think about it is like we fall in love with these players, right? But how he does, and how he's like, listen, man, you can either stay here or we're gonna bring in somebody to compete with you, and you have to prove that you want to stay here. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And the thing about it is like, yeah, you're right. Shipley hadn't got his opportunities, you know what I mean, as much as he wants to, but that's on you to be able to perform when you get in the game and be able to do certain things. You know what I mean? Tank Bigsby, like I say, he's not going anywhere right now.
No.
He's definitely like
he is a beast.
He's definitely going to take some carries away from Saquon next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think you look at it as Dameon Pierce might beat out Shipley, and here for one reason, because Shipley was put back there to return kicks, and he does not do well returning kicks. So if Dameon Pierce comes on and returns kicks and is the 3rd running back, Ship's going to be the 4th guy.
Shipley will be at one of the other NFC East teams.
Yes, he might be gone soon. But no, he'll be definitely here for one more year for sure. He's got 2 more years on his contract, so we'll see. They also signed Stone Smart with 2 T's.
Yeah.
Former college quarterback who provides depth at tight end position. Again, he'll probably be cut if we draft a tight end, which we definitely should and hopefully will.
Yeah.
But he's to be a good guy to have for training camp.
Yeah.
We signed JT Gray as safety. And I was like, oh, JT Gray. And then I'm reading like, this dude is a 2-time All-Pro, and he was an All-Pro in 2024. I'm like, how the hell is this guy slipping through the cracks? Then I'm like, I look a little further. I'm like, as a safety in 7 years,
he
has got 0 interceptions. I'm like, how's this dude? Then I realized he's a special teamer All-Pro.
Right.
So anyway, we lost Sidney Brown, who was a great special teamer. So what you're doing is you're replacing one special teamer with another because he's probably not going to be playing a whole lot of safety either, similar to Sidney Brown, but he'll play that special team role very well.
Right. So we going into the season, right, as of right now, with Makuba and Epps as our safeties.
Correct. And technically JT Gray, but he'll be like way third.
All right. So
they need a safety there. Well, let's wait to the end. All right. Because we got to get into that. So Eagles also, and by the way, in case everybody didn't know, they did trade Sidney Brown to the Falcons. Basically, they just swapped picks in the 4th round and the 6th round. So we got higher picks in the 4th and 6th rounds for Sidney Brown. Yeah. Nothing great, but hey, at least we got rid of him and it's all good because
you would have had 3 Browns on the team, which is crazy.
Right? Yeah. Dallas Goedert is back. He had a career high, 11 touchdowns, which is actually an Eagles team high for tight ends for 11 touchdowns in one season. So good for Goedert, and I'm glad he's back. He's back with a deal on a 1-year deal. Grant Calcaterra is back. They signed him. So you got a couple of guys. You've got that Stone Smart. You got Munt. You got Calcaterra. You got Goddard. So you got 4 tight ends right now, which is what you need. You need a 5th. You're going to draft one. Let's hope it's a good one. Somebody who can block and catch. We'll see how they do that. Marcus Epps is back. He will compete for a starting job with Drew Makuba. He'll probably fill at the moment, fill Reed Blankenship's departure. Then let's get to the big signing of the year. Brandon Mann, baby. The man. White guy.
100%.
So the largest commitment by Eagles in awarded free agency went to a punter who signed a 4-year deal. So the Eagles, he was a free agent. And here's the crazy part. The Eagles have never given a punter more than 2 or 3 year contracts. They've given Brandon Mann 4. And I think that's large deserved. He's got many years to go. He's in his prime. I'm glad they locked him up.
Yeah, he earned that. He earned that, man.
The crazy part is now, so they also restructured Jake Elliott.
Yeah.
Which probably means he's coming back. I don't think he's gonna get rid of him. So I guess we have 1 more year of Jake Elliott, which is fine.
I still think they need to bring somebody in for competition.
Absolutely. Yeah. But it almost seems like that's just a formality because if you're restructuring his contract, you're telling me he's definitely coming back.
Yeah, coming back. But training camp got to happen, dog. Like, don't act like. So it got to happen, bro.
So we have Jordan Davis extended, Landon Dickerson restructured, Michael Carter the second restructured. By the way, as far as safety goes, Michael Carter looks like he's going to make the move from DB to he's still a defensive back, but moving from cornerback to safety. So you also have Michael Carter in the mix to be your safety. Don't forget that. Mm-hmm. I forgot about that aspect. Jake Elliott restructured as well. So we have some. So cap limitations have really hurt us. We haven't done a whole lot because of the whole A.J. Brown. We don't know if it's 40 or 20. So there you go. Eagles who have signed elsewhere. We know that Jalen Phillips has signed with Carolina. Nakobe Dean has signed with Las Vegas. Reed Blankenship went to Houston. Jahan Dotson went to Atlanta. Brett Toth, that's probably going to be a bigger loss than we think. He was a great little backup. Went to San Francisco. Matt Pryor went to Arizona. Kylan Granson, who cares? Went to Tennessee. A.J. Dillon actually signed with a team. I can't believe it. Carolina. I guess he's going to be happy with Jalen Phillips. Josh Uche went to Miami. Azeez Ojulari went to Atlanta. And Sam Howell, your boy, Whitey, went to Dallas. Traded. Yeah. The Fowler Eagles remain unsigned, but as of today, that changed because we had Brandon Graham, Adoree Jackson, Ogbo Agronakwo, the edge player, and Ben Van Sumeren, who you asked about. He's still out there. The last guy who's still available that I was like, they should have signed this guy a long time ago is Fred Johnson, who is coming back on a 1-year deal. Thank you, God.
Yeah, no doubt.
So we got Fred Jackson as a swing tackle. So a lot of this stuff is great depth that we need. So we don't have to get desperate with the draft. But obviously, yes, I agree that you got to get somebody in there who's going to replace Lane Johnson. And you got to get somebody who's going to go in there and replace Landon Dickerson because I don't think Landon's long. God bless him. He's played great for 4 or 5 years, but I think that guy in 2 or 3 years, he's absolutely done. He's just so injury riddled. I don't think he's going to be able to move when he's 40.
Right. And so, I mean, like you got to realize, like people, we've been fortunate. We've had a definitely year of spoils with comes to offensive line. Like we have offensive line that has longevity. They stick around, but people got to realize like average lifespan of football players usually 3 years. Like that's it. So the fact that we had Landon Dickerson, we expect him to play for 10 years, like most of our offensive linemen, but some don't make it. Some don't make it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Brandon Brooks. I mean, that guy looked like he was going to be here another 5-6 years, and that guy just had to retire. Just kept getting shoulder injuries. He got banged up, and he's like, I'm done. I'm out.
Right.
And that's what happens with some offensive linemen. I mean, you had like Nate Newton and all these guys, some of the Hogs. I mean, some of those guys, it's like you just can't move anymore.
I'm wondering what's going to happen with Mekhi Becton.
So he's still out there, by the way.
No.
I believe the Eagles have probably reached out and talked to him, but they're giving him very little money. And I believe Becton's kind of like, well, let me see what else is out there.
No, 100%. I mean,
and I think Becton will probably say, I'm going to wait on my decision and see what happens. So I believe the Eagles even told him, like, look, you go out and see what's up. If you're still hanging around after the draft, we'll come grab you. But it's going to be something where, it's going to be a minimum deal.
It's got to be beneficial for both sides. And the thing about it is it's no different than you coming in on a 1-year deal with us before and then getting a payday.
Right.
So you can come back in and do the same thing and prove yourself and get another payday. But, we'll give you the opportunity.
What I probably believe that they would do is give a 2-year contract. The first year's got some guaranteed money. Second year's got no guaranteed money.
Right.
So I think that's probably what they would do there.
Right.
So we'll get more into the signings a little bit because there's a couple more to talk about. But let's talk about future needs. I've got really 3. Edge rusher.
Yep.
Offensive line.
Yep.
Safety.
Yep.
And AJ's gone, so wide receiver. You need a third solid wide receiver, which they do not have yet.
My list is offensive line, defensive end, tight end, receiver is last.
Yeah, I have receivers last too. That's why I was having it in order.
Safety and then receiver. I don't. Maybe safety before tight end.
Yeah, I mean, safety's definitely before tight, because first of all, you got 4 tight ends, 5 tight ends now. You got 5 tight ends. So
but you need the future, right? Like you definitely need the future. Like I'm not saying so. Like
yeah, but
go ahead.
I was gonna say, but here's the thing: you have to look at it in these kind of terms, right? You've got 5 tight ends, so you're flush with tight ends. Are they going to be lasting here for 10 years? No, you're out of the future, but. Look at your safeties, dude. You got nobody at safety.
Do you have 5 tight ends? Like, do we have 5 tight ends on the roster last year?
Yeah. No. I'm saying you have 5 tight ends. You got plenty of tight ends. At least there's people there. We only have like 3 safeties. And Makuba is like no guarantee. He did well last year, but he was banged up. If this guy gets injured again, you're screwed. You got Epps and JT Gray as your safeties. That ain't going to work, man.
What you talking about? You're talking about right now in March.
I'm talking about like right now.
Yeah. But
your need for safety right now because of what you have is way higher than tight ends. I'm not saying tight ends are great and they're going to be awesome and all 5 tight ends are going to. No, they're not all going to make it and they're not going to be for 10 years. But you have a bigger hole at safety than you do at tight end. At least you've got bodies in tight ends. You've got 5 bodies right now. You've got nobody at safety. Makuba's still rehabbing.
So here's the plus side.
I'm just saying safety is a bigger need than tight end.
Here's the silver lining for you. The draft happens in April. All right? Draft, 7 rounds, do whatever we got to do. Remember, our last safety was unsigned. Came in the camp, proved it, got on the team. The same thing can happen for safety. Like, you don't necessarily have to go and be like, oh, we got to go pick one of the highest safeties in the draft, Reed Blankenship was very serviceable, and this dude was undrafted.
I hear you. That's
diamond in the rough when it comes to safety. In order to be a good safety, you got to be smart, you got to be disciplined, and you got to be able to command.
Tackle. You got to tackle.
Be able to tackle and command respect when you back there. And the thing about it is the corners are so good. And I'm saying that because of Woolen, right? The corners are so good.
Reek?
Yeah, the corners are so good right now that you could survive with the Epps and Makuba. You could.
You could. I'm not saying it's
about it is you need a better safety when you have a deficiency at corner.
Well, I forgot one thing too. They do have speaking of undrafted people, they do have Andre Sam, who they did like a lot, who was an undrafted free agent that we got last year.
Right.
I'm not saying he's the answer, and I'm right. And you're right. It's a good point that you can get a good undrafted free agent safety that, didn't get drafted, still pretty good. Because let's look at the facts. A lot of safeties don't get drafted. There's just not many good safeties.
Right. It's not a position where people are like, oh, we got to go get a safety. Like,
correct.
Like, unless you got an Ed Reed out there, bro, like relax. Like, that's fine, bro. You'll be fine. Like, you ain't got to go out there and go get Minkah Fitzpatrick in the first round. Like, you don't have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? So think about our safeties. Like, think about Brian Dawkins and Malcolm
second round.
Things like that. Yeah, like they weren't first rounders. Like, you got to realize, and they were very serviceable. And like
I think the guy from the Steelers, the big hair dude, I think he was
Polamalu. Yeah,
Polamalu. Wasn't he like third, fourth round, something like that?
Like you got they're out there. Like you can I'm not really concerned. I'll get concerned if we go into training camp and we're in the same situation.
Well, here's the thing. My biggest thing is, I'm not saying you have to do the safety in the first, second, or third round, but in the fourth, fifth round, you got to be looking at safeties, tight ends. You got to start looking at guys that are solid players that can come into camp and challenge for that job.
Right. Well, you got to think about the misses that we had too with safety, right?
Oh, I know. Oh,
Kevin Byard, like that trade was horrible, dude.
But we didn't miss. We just didn't use him right. The guy led the league in interceptions last year.
So
led the league.
Well, whose defense was he under, right?
Bears.
No, whose defense was he under when he was here? He wasn't under
a Vic, I know, but still, we had a guy that we could have just re-signed, but we're like, nah, go ahead. And he went on.
They're going to respond based off what he did, right? Like based off what how we used them. How did we use them? You know what I'm saying? So I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. We will not mention Justin Simmons again. Like let that go. Let it go.
I never said it. I'm
just saying, let it go. We're not going into next year talking about.
Well, first of all, the guy's 100 years old now, so I don't even want him.
Right.
It's like maybe 2 years ago.
I hear you. They sign him next week. You're like, yo, we got it. Like, I'm like, I want to hear.
You ain't gonna hear from me.
Like,
you ain't gonna hear from me. I'll be like, yo, we signed Justin Simmons. That's what the text gonna be like. It ain't gonna be like, yo, we signed him.
I'll make you buy a jersey and wear it just because. Like,
dude, I'll start to let a flame to it.
All right.
So the league announced there's team meetings from March 29th to April 1st in Arizona. The draft takes place April 23rd in where?
The draft?
The draft, April 23rd.
I have no idea.
Through April 26th. Through April 25th, sorry, through that Saturday. It's in
I don't know.
A lot of hills. This place has a lot of hills.
I don't know.
Pittsburgh, PA.
It is?
It's in Pittsburgh, PA. Pittsburgh, PU.
Oh.
Over there. But that's actually Lisa's hometown. Lisa, our fan, who is usually on here tonight. Eagles, and I mentioned this when you were off the air. I was around. The teams should be until May 1st, not June 1st, to exercise fifth-year options on players. And again, that applies to Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. Eagles will most likely have their 3-day rookie camp from May 9th to May 11th. As a reminder, Eagles home games, Washington, Dallas, New York, and Colts, Panthers, Rams, Seahawks, Steelers, and Texans. Then on their away games, Commanders, Cowboys, Giants, and also Niners, Bears, Cardinals, Jaguars, Titans. And I got to bet Niners with Toure again, so hopefully I don't lose again. That was going to suck. Mm-hmm. All right. It remains to be seen if the Eagles get an international game. Eagles possibly in one of these games, possibly not in all three. But they do play Jacksonville or Washington, and that could be in London.
Yeah.
They do play San Francisco. That could be in Mexico City. That has a real possibility for the Eagles. And then Rio de Janeiro, Dallas. I doubt the Eagles would play. They would put a
divisional game
in Rio. I just don't see that happening.
No, not at all.
So, but I do see Mexico City. I think the Eagles have a real shot at being in Mexico City for Dallas game. All right, so we talked about A.J. Brown. We talked about Jared Gerard's official title. Clint Hurt, by the way, your boy, And my boy, I really love Clint. I just can't. He'll definitely be taking over for Vic if he leaves. He earned a promotion, and I think that shows that he is getting closer to being the DC
coordinator. Yeah.
Yeah, he's now associate head coach, in addition to DL coach and senior defensive assistant. So more and more points to him becoming the guy if Vic leaves. Jahad Campbell, in fact, dealt with an injury most of his rookie season, despite undergoing surgery before last year's draft. Campbell still played in every game. He had another surgery on his shoulder and is on the mend, but will not be back until closer to training camp. Interesting. So might need we do have some extra linebackers. We got Trotter and a couple of guys, but that's we have to see how what's going to happen there. Interesting that since we talked, the Ravens canceled the trade to grab Trey Hendrickson. What do you think of that? I think they had buyer's remorse. I think they're like, we give up 2 firsts, we can get Trey Hendrickson for the same money with no first round picks leaving. I think they got buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
Even though I believe Max Crosby is way better player right now versus Trey Hendrickson.
Well, the thing about it is, and I was explaining this to somebody else a week ago, the Max Crosby hype, right? It doesn't scare me as an Eagles fan, because you putting Max Crosby on your defensive line doesn't mean you beat us. It just doesn't. It doesn't because of Lane Johnson. It's too many times he goes against a premier pass rusher and he totally eliminates their threat by himself. And I give you an example. If Max Crosby had went to Dallas, right, I immediately don't care. It means absolutely it means absolutely nothing. Because unless you have another person on the other side that has somewhat of a threat, he's isolated. You can eliminate that threat.
Yeah, I think you talked about that last week too. So what did you think about the fact that just the Ravens canceled the trade to go get Trey Hendrickson? Do you think it was a buyer's remorse?
I think they feel like they're one pass rusher away from being an elite defense again.
Right.
And I think that's what they're just trying to do. They're just trying to fill a gap, right? Here's my thing.
But do you think it was BS for them to be like, oh, his shoulder's bad and we're going to cancel the trade?
No. I think they had concern. I think that he was on the mend from that surgery.
Right.
I felt like they were giving away a ton for somebody that might not be able to finish out a season. And thing about it is look at what happened with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons was 100% healthy. And then the Green Bay was just standing there holding their nuts, man. Just like, damn, like we ain't nothing we can do right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so for another half season.
So if you think about it, right, and they say, all right, we're gonna nix this trade and we get Trey Hendrickson, who doesn't have the injury, right? It's a smarter move.
But he's also older. He's 4 or 5 years older.
They only need him for 2 years?
And apparently that was the rumor, is that they were trading for Max Crosby, who should be around for their 5 years, but they, based on their medical, this is what I heard, is that he was going to be probably okay the next year or two after the injury, but long-term, this injury could shorten his career. So the 2 first, you're not going to get him for like 5 or 6 years. You might get him for 2 years. So why waste 2 years on a guy that you have to spend 2 first-round picks on? Why not get a guy for 2 years? We only have to just sign on the dotted line.
2 years.
I just still think it was
so they gave up this year's first round and next year's first round, right?
2 first, and then they rescinded both. Yep.
Right. And then they went and got Trey Hendrickson for what?
$31 million a year, which is about what they're gonna. That was a lot less than what they were gonna pay.
And they still had their draft picks.
Yeah.
So what do you think they take in the first round?
Defensive end.
There you go.
I know, but it's just
smarter,
like, dude.
It's the smarter move. Like, dude, like, think about that for a second. I don't care how it happened. I don't care if they got home and then they thought about it for a second. It's like, oh, hold up, right? Like you gotta realize, like, I get it. Like when you add, like, I go back to AJ. When you add AJ Brown to the Rams for a first round pick, it makes sense. It's like, damn, we almost unstoppable offense now. Like, you know what I mean? Like It makes sense. But when you have the Ravens, who defense is decent, it ain't been like what it's been, and you think Max Crosby is going to take you to the next level, he doesn't.
Well, here's the other aspect of that. It's just you're the GM of the Titans now, right?
Yeah,
you
right.
are Jay Bliss,
right?
You going to trade with the Ravens?
No, I wouldn't trade with the Ravens. No,
right? Because you don't know if they're going to pull this shit again. I'm not going to trade with them.
No.
Now that's like it just looks now that it's like I think most of the league are be very hesitant to trade with the Ravens ever again.
Yeah, I mean that could happen. Like it's like the whole thing where like the league was talking about Howie Roseman. People like some people don't answer the phone when Howie called, and then like some people they think way harder because they feel like Howie always gets the better of the deal.
Like wait a minute,
better the deal. He's giving you what you think is fair. And you believe in that it's fair, and it just happens to work in our favor more than it does their favor, but we always have the better team. So our pieces make better sense after it's all said and done because we're playing with a more complete team. You think one player going to change everything, and it doesn't. One receiver don't change it.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Sidney Brown trade. I mean, that's not a big win for us. I mean, we moved up a couple of slots, but it wasn't like it was a big trade.
I'll give you a perfect example. In the Super Bowl, JSN. Oh man, that's the best receiver in the league. Eliminated, like obsolete, like not even a factor in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like it's too easy to eliminate one player. It's too easy to eliminate one player. So when somebody say, "Oh, all we need is," no, it's not. No, you don't. You need everything else to go around it for that one person to get off. So Max Crosby don't work. Max Crosby don't work in Dallas because Dallas don't got a defensive line.
Right.
That Max Crosby don't work in Washington because they don't have a pass rush. Like you got to already have a pass rush in order for it to make sense. Like when we got Jalen Phillips made an impact because he got Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis next to him.
Yeah, I agree. So anyway, more stuff. Like apparently the Eagles were interested in Trey. They were going to use the $25 million they were going to give Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to add a couple million and sign him, but that would have wiped out the 3rd round pick. So I don't know if that rumor is true or not, but the rumor was that they were kind of hot on Trey, not super hot, but kind of lurking around. Trey signed with the Ravens for $28 million a year for 5 years. So I don't know if they would have gone to $28 million on a guy who's 31 years old.
Right.
They were willing to go only $25 million on a guy who's 26 years old.
Right.
Now the other thing is Trey doesn't have nearly the injury history that Phillips does.
Right.
What was the other thing I was going to talk about? The other thing, Nakobe Dean.
Mm-hmm.
This might be a guy, might be an all-timer Eagle. Dallas Cowboys offered him way more per year than the Raiders did, and he went to the Raiders.
Right.
You think it's his loyal to the Eagles?
What? Listen, dog. You walk
fuck them Cowboys, man.
Through that Never Care complex. Everybody knows it's Dallas week. Everybody knows we hate Dallas. Everybody knows no. So Nakobe Dean knows that the kind of vitriol he would get coming into this stadium. He was there for the games. He heard what the fans was doing. He like, I don't want to deal with that. Like he was like, let me go as far away from Philadelphia as I possibly can. The thing about it is he's going to get cheers if he ever comes back to play here. Because they're going to be like, hey, it's the Kobe Dean.
It's Raiders. I mean, actually, and everybody kind of likes the Raiders.
As a Cowboy, oh my God, no, Kobe, you suck. Like, dude, they're going to be on him like crazy.
I think it also too that I think Nakobe sees what a lot of people see is that there's just so much dysfunction in Dallas. It's like it ain't worth going there.
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you another example. You remember when Carson Wentz first came to the Eagles and he was out at that media thing and he was signing autographs and they was doing this little thing and a guy came up with a Dallas Cowboy hat on? And he was like, you got to take that hat off, man. Like, I was like, he hadn't even played a game for us yet. I was like, this dude know already, like, you got to take that hat off. I said, that right there lets me know straight up. When they walk in the building, they automatically know Dallas sucks. Yep. When your boy Brandon Graham last year at the draft, that dude went up to the microphone. Hey, had nothing. Hey, what's up, Michigan? Detroit in the house. Blah 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 blah. And before I finish, Dallas sucks all day. like it ain't had nothing to do with nothing. But I just want to let you know Dallas sucks. And
Hey,
then,
one of your boys, one of my boys retired. Boston Scott, the Giant Killer, retired recently. Just So let's see. Damian
Darius
Pierce,
Slay retired.
Darius Slay retired. Also, that's right. By the way, talking about going back to Pierce, running back, he did rush for nearly 1,000 yards. It was 939 yards, but he lost his starting spot in the second season for some reason and then fell down the depth chart. He was on the Chiefs last year on the Chiefs practice squad, so he wasn't even playing.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to see. I think he can make that third back, though. I think he really can. I think he's just got to get used. Also, the Eagles did trade for Andy Dalton. If the Eagles get a 4th-round pick for Tanner McGee, do you trade him?
No.
3rd-round pick.
No.
Wow. Okay.
Because you don't have a backup. Like you. I don't listen. I know they traded for Dalton.
Right.
He's not going to be on a roster at the training camp.
No, I think
the Eagles draft a quarterback in the 4th round.
Yeah, I think Eagles draft a quarterback too, but I think he'd be the 3rd quarterback, just like Sam Howell was. Sam Howell was.
I get the third, but he can't be the third. He can't be the third if you trade McKee. Like think about that.
You can't see him as the 2nd quarterback.
No, no. That's fine for Carolina. You don't put him behind Jalen Hurts, dude. Are you crazy?
Well, let's say this: if somebody gives you a 2nd-round pick for Tanner McGee, do you take it?
2nd round, that's different. You said 3rd. You didn't say 2nd.
I'm throwing it in now.
2nd, yes.
Okay, so then do you?
2nd, yes, and then Howie got over on somebody else, like 100%. Like you got fleeced again.
So you got a 2nd-round pick for him. Do you then turn around and take maybe a 3rd-round flyer on a very good quarterback as your backup quarterback?
Nah, you take the 2nd round pick and then you go to Cleveland and you go get Shedeur.
That's interesting.
That's who now. If you want a 2nd round, you want a backup quarterback. That's the person you go get. You go get Shedeur Sanders.
I'm not giving up a 2nd-round pick for Shedeur, though.
No, I didn't say us give up a 2nd round pick. I said you go talk to Cleveland and you go get Shedeur. They got problems over there. Like they got problems. You got Deshaun Watson coming back. Like they don't know what they want to do. I'm like, listen, man. Let me holler at you. Come here. Let me holler at you. Let me. At the meetings, when they go to the meetings in May, they go like, hey, let me holler. Let me holler at you real quick. Let me holler at you.
Shadeur's not working out for you, man. Bring him over here.
Yeah, hey, man, listen. You can't even spell Shedeur. Let's come over here. Let me.
You don't want Neon Sanders.
Show Shedeur the door. You know what I'm saying, and then let him go. But that's the thing. How he was going to draft him.
Yeah,
how he was going to draft him. Word was. Dion got on the phone and said he didn't want his son going nowhere where he's the backup. But here's the thing. If he would have been in a better situation coming to Philadelphia, then he would have been going to Cleveland.
Well, I told you, he was supposed to be drafted in the 4th round by the Ravens.
And then
the Ravens,
Philadelphia was about to move up in the 5th round.
No. The Ravens were drafted in the 4th round. Dion called and said, don't draft my son. They didn't.
Right.
Then, or the agent called Ravens said, don't do it. Then it wasn't the Eagles moving up. Eagles were in the 5th round. He was dropping. They were going to pick him. The rumor was they were just going to pick him where they were. It was then that Cleveland jumped us 2 spots above us to take Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
And I believe that's right. I believe that they're like, why not? We'll take Shedeur. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I don't care what you say. We taking your son. Like,
exactly.
Be quiet, bro. Like,
you shut the hell up, man.
Fly Eagles fly, Dion. I'll get you a jersey and be quiet, bro. You know what I'm saying?
So I believe that the Tanner McGee trade market is really cool because he didn't have a great last game last year. So I still think if somebody offered me a 3rd, I would take it. And then go get Shedeur or something like that. Get another quarterback. Joshua Dobbs is out there too, and I could take him as well.
Man. I would not a 3rd. I would give him a 2nd. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing.
No. Here's the thing. If somebody offered me a 3rd for Tanner, you're saying you wouldn't even take that? Okay, I would take it.
Not a 3rd.
Because here's the thing: Tanner McGee's on his 4th year, and he's only got another contract. He's a free agent. You might as well get something for nothing.
But here's the thing. But so if God forbid, if Jalen got hurt, Andy Dalton, the season's over. at least if Tanner McKee's in there, I feel like we can win some games.
All right. Well, yeah, we don't know that. So
I feel like we can win some games. I do. I feel like we can win some games.
It's amazing though that, by the way, everybody talks about Hurts and everything, blah blah blah. Hurts has had a different coordinator every year to start the year since 2016. Every year, new coordinator since 2016.
Yep.
There's a full decade. So it's now 2026. That's a full decade of a new coordinator to start every year. That's incredible. And he still has been to more Super Bowls than Allen, Jackson, Burrow, and Herbert combined. Combined. Because Burrow has been to one.
Put some respect on my QB1. Straight up.
So here's the other right. So the free agent that Arnold Ekebader is signed to 1 year. So here's the thing about him. Everybody's acting like, is this really a good signing? The 27-year-old from Atlanta. This seems to be one of those could be decent, but here's the thing. He had 8 sacks in the past 2 seasons. He's been serviceable pass rusher for the Dirty Birds for 4 seasons, but he's never lived up to being the former day 2 pick that you thought. So this is from one of their journalists, one of those guys who covers the teams. He says, it feels like year after year, we've been waiting for him to make that leap, and he just didn't do it. He plateaued after a 6-sack campaign in 2023 and 2024. But because of his event metrics and pressure numbers are good, people are fooled into believing he's better than he truly is. So he's never going to be a great defensive end, but losing your job, he did lose his job because you know who they signed? You know who Atlanta signed to fill his role?
When they got Pierce, right?
No. He drafted him, but I'm saying do you know who they signed this year?
Who?
Azeez Ojulari.
Oh, well.
They signed our guy who had 0 sacks all year to fill his spot.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He's coming from what school?
Penn State?
No, he was at Temple, wasn't he?
Or Temple. No, but he went to Penn State though.
Yeah.
He went to Temple, then went to Penn State.
Right. So the thing about it is last person that went to Temple and played for us was Hassan Reddick.
But Hassan Reddick came with much better.
I don't care. I'm just saying, it's ties there. You know what I'm saying?
So he had a career low 2 sacks last year with the Falcons, but was because he was part of a deeper rotation. But the only good news to come out of last season was he was 10th in the league in quarterback pressure rate, 16, almost 17% among players with at least 150 pass rush snaps. So that figure, by the way, was a team high for Atlanta edge rushers. So this guy can put pressure on there. He's just not getting home.
We'll see what happens.
So we'll see what happens.
It might be the coaching.
And by the way, Jonathan Jones, that DB we talked about, played for New England from 2016 to 2024. He did play a couple of years under Bill Belichick. He does have 2 Super Bowl rings, which ain't bad. By the way, Jones did overlap in New England with new secondary coach Mike Pellegrino. So that's another good thing. By the way, Mike Pellegrino is the new DB coach, which I forgot, maybe I didn't mention. Also came from New England, not bad. Let me see what else here. Oh, interesting thing about Eagles signing Hollywood Brown. They gave him more money as the 3rd receiver than they have given to the 3rd receiver in total over the past 4 years.
Okay.
Significant because of what you believe is that AJ ain't coming back. So why give a 3rd receiver as much money combined over the past 4 years in 1 year? Because you believe he's going to be playing a whole lot.
Yeah, 100%.
We're going to the punter. Yep, and Jake Elliott's probably going to be back. So there's the Eagles offseason, pretty much all thing. But by the way, Eagles benefiting for signing Dallas Goedert. 1, Eagles keep a tight end who has been a proven factor in the past game and knows the system. Number 2, he preserving his cap space. Had they moved on, have been $20 million in dead cap, so that's pretty good. So here's possible free agent signings. So I already had Fred Johnson on there, already signed him, which was great. There's still a guy named Justin Skule. He played with the Vikings last year, played in 16 games with 9 starts, and he played under the current O-line coach, which might be a good thing. So I'm not sure why they haven't signed him, but that might be a good signing. He was graded out as the 45th ranked OT out of 84, which is not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a backup with Fred Johnson. I think it would be a great signing. Your boy Becton is still out there. The Ravens have an offensive guard too, 370 pounds, and had a 90% pass block win rate over the past 2 years. Why he hasn't signed with anybody? Why we haven't gone after him instead of Becton? I don't know. But the guy's as big as Becton.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk. I don't know why they didn't take him over Elijah Moore, but he's still out there. Would you take him over Moore?
Probably, but I don't know. Maybe they saw something. I don't know.
Because he's a slot receiver. I mean, he's exactly built for the slot. We shall see. The safety Donovan Wilson is still out there. He played for the Cowboys and had 75 starts. So he had 2 interceptions last year. So there might be a guy to grab.
I don't know. Howie's probably not done yet. We'll see what happens over the next couple weeks.
You know who else is out there is Joey Bosa.
Injury prone.
Is very much so, but when he plays, he's still Bosa.
Yeah, but he hasn't played a full season in forever, man.
Before we get to the trivia, one last major thing I have to talk about. Miami Dolphins dead money for this season.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
You want what the total? You want to guess what the total is?
It's like 200. It's like
no,
no, it's close to 100, right?
$175 million.
Yeah, they're just like that's easy wins. That's
$175 million in dead money in 1 year.
That's 2 wins for every team in the AFC East.
You realize that's like it's over half of your money is dead cap money.
Yeah,
over half because it's $300 million this year.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have the youngest team in the league on the field.
They're going to sign, dude. They're going to sign every undrafted free agent possible.
100%. Everybody's going to be in a 1 year deal. That's going to be I mean, that's horrible.
Dude, they got Tua for $50 million, Tyreek Hill for nearly $30 million, Jalen Waddle for almost $30 million, Jalen Ramsey $20 million, Fitzpatrick $13 million, Bradley Chubb $10 million, Teron Armstead $10 million, and a bunch of others. I mean, that's sick amount of money.
That GM's just doing a horrible job, man.
Other than it was this Douglas and Brown, the only corners the Eagles have ever drafted who have had 20 career interceptions. Can you name them all?
20 interceptions
that Eagles have actually drafted.
Eric Allen.
Correct.
Troy Vincent.
Joe Lavender, you never get him.
Troy Vincent
we got from Miami.
Oh, Bobby Taylor.
Bobby Taylor did not have 20 career interceptions.
Really?
So it's Eric Allen, Joe Lavender, who you wouldn't have gotten. Think of CBS NFL Today in the 80s with Brent Musburger, and who else was on that show?
No idea.
The only black guy. Irv Cross, who played for the Eagles.
Oh,
drafted.
Yeah, okay.
Irv Cross, Roynell Young, remember him?
Yeah.
And last but not least, Mark McMillan. Remember him, the little short dude?
Damn, nah.
23 career interceptions for Mark McMillan with the Eagles.
Okay.
By the way, this is to me is just atrocious. Remember 1990? Randall Cunningham came in second for MVP.
Mm-hmm.
He threw for 3,500 yards, threw 30 touchdowns, ran for almost 1,000 yards. It would be 29 years before any other quarterback threw for 30 touchdown passes, ran for 900 yards, and threw that amount of yardage. And that was Lamar Jackson in 2019, who was the runaway leader in the MVP. How did Randall Cunningham not get MVP in 1990? Yeah, it could have been.
It could have been. That's what it was, dude.
You know who got it?
Yeah, but a black person at the face of our right, Giles? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? They were like, no.
Joe Montana won it that year, and
yeah, dude, come on, bro.
He had a couple more touchdowns, a couple more yardage, but he did not have 900 yards rushing.
Way more racist in 1990.
I'll agree with that. I got no problem with that.
What was it? Maybe had a Rooney Rule in. Like, come on, man.
So Cunningham and Jackson are the only QBs with 30 TD passes and 900 yards rushing in a season ever. That's crazy. And it took the rest of the league.
Here's a better point. Is Cunningham number retired?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
They had him back in the Hall of Fame, and I believe they retired his jersey and they had him in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if his jersey's retired, but he's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Eagles Hall of Fame.
Here's the thing. If it's not, it needs to be. That's the first thing.
When's the last time you saw somebody wear 12?
I have it. And that's my point. That it needs to be. Because I'm still, and I want y'all to hear this, Dallas Cowboys. Why the hell are y'all still letting people wear 33? That is a damn disgrace. That is a disgrace. I'm not even a Dallas fan, but they should never anybody wearing number 33 for y'all franchise.
Dorsett was great. He was great.
Like he made y'all who y'all was in the 90s. Or the 80s. I'm sorry, not the 90s.
70s and 80s. 70s and 80s.
The 80s. It was him. It was Danny White. It was Raphael Septien. Like everybody, Everson Walls. Those are the four players that everybody knew for the Dallas Cowboys.
And Bill Bates, because he was a dirty player.
Right. But like the fact that y'all let somebody, and this man can't even really speak anymore, and y'all still let people walk around.
By the way, Randall actually had 3 straight seasons of 600 yards rushing and 20 TD passes, 88, 89, and 90. And nobody else in NFL history has done that.
Listen, Randall Cunningham will go down in history.
And he did that with no offensive line and really no offensive coordinator.
100%. Like, you got to understand that, dude. You got to remember back then in the 80s when Randall Cunningham was running the Eagles, they would announce the game of the week and say, Randall Cunningham and the Philadelphia Eagles verse. Like, that was what they said. It wasn't the Philadelphia Eagles. It was Randall Cunningham and the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, there was a like an R&B group. Like I understand that. That dude sold tickets.
But he's the only one who did it 3 years in a row. McNabb did it in 2000. Vic did it in 2010. Hurts did it in 2022 and 23, back-to-back years. But nobody did it 3 years in a row. That's incredible.
So on my Mount Rushmore, well, not Mount Rushmore.
But here's my only issue, though. My only issue with Randall. The Rams came in 89.
Yeah.
And threw a new defense at him, and he couldn't do anything.
Right. But we didn't
Washington came in 1990, completely shut him down in the playoffs again.
Yeah.
In 95, Gruden came in with the West Coast offense, and Randall didn't like it and was basically like, I'm not running this. Randall's got to be Randall, and didn't adapt to it and immediately got benched. I don't know if it's because all those things he couldn't handle or he wasn't taught the right way or didn't study enough. That's my only issue with Randall.
Here's the thing. You got to realize they let Randall do what Randall does for so long. When they tried to come in and teach him how to be the quarterback they wanted him to be, he wasn't used to it. It's like
I get it. It was a whole different thing. Well, but he couldn't adapt.
But that's the thing. You let him be the man. You let him do what he wants to do, and then you try to come in and rear it back. Say, no, we want you to do check downs. We don't want you to go down the field like you're used to doing and going for the long bomb. And that's the thing. He wasn't with the West Coast. He didn't think West Coast offense ways. You know what I'm saying? But if he had started West Coast and then graduated out towards the other way, it's different. Like, even run and shoot was what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like understand, man. Like,
dude, that dude came into camp with a hat that says, "Let me be me."
Yeah. Like when I think back to like overall like Eagles quarterbacks, Donovan McNabb is number one. Like, Donovan McNabb is number one quarterback for Philadelphia franchise right now. Like, he's still number one.
Probably still number one, yeah.
Still number one. Randall Cunningham is a very close second. Because Randall Cunningham did more. I'll like it. Randall Cunningham to Allen Iverson. He did more culturally for the NFL than he did playing wise. Playing numbers, he still had great numbers, and
because he started banging Whitney Houston.
No, it wasn't that. It was just the fact that he was just the face. He was the face of just black people, man.
Well, you know what it was?
Like you got to understand, like that was a prideful thing for us, man. Like, you know, Randall was that dude, man. He was a top 5 quarterback for.
Well, you know what it was? he was pretty much the face of the NFL without the NFL pushing him to be the face of the NFL.
100%. Like
because like CBS, NBC would hype him up and they loved him. The commentators loved him. Everybody loved him.
He was
prime. The NFL was reluctant to put anybody but Joe Montana out as the face of the NFL. He was
prime time television, man. And then like people, like you got to realize he was doing all this before it was even acceptable. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, and so same thing with Iverson. Like Iverson was let me be me. He was a culture changer. He changed a lot of different things. You got all these other little boys growing up wanting to be Randall Cunningham, and his coaches are like, you know what? If he can do what Randall do, let's go ahead and let him be the quarterback.
Yeah, let Iverson be Iverson.
Football programs across the United States that allow black quarterbacks start being their quarterback for their programs because of a Randall Cunningham.
Yeah, let Iverson be Iverson. Let him pee in a trash can in a casino. Let him throw up in a trash can at practice.
If you don't listen, man.
Let him hang out. Let him hang out at TGI Fridays while practice is going on.
If you don't let Randall Cunningham be who he is, we would never got Michael Vick. They would have changed. They'd have moved him to receiver, right? They would have moved him to receiver, running back. You know what I'm saying? You would never would have got a Michael.
My big have
Jalen Hurts, you have Donovan McNabb, all of those things.
My only wish with Randall, I wanted to see what he could do with an offensive line, a running back, and an offensive coach.
But he would never would have got that. We had Buddy Ryan, who
was an ignorant a-hole.
Right.
I love him. I love Buddy.
Never
he was an ignorant a-hole.
They never gave him what he needed. The thing about it is, McNabb was like that for a while too. They never gave him what he needed till they got to Yo.
Well, hold on. Andy Reid was way better than Buddy. As much as I love Buddy, because Buddy Ball was great, but
you absolutely right.
Andy Reid gave him an offensive line and he gave him an OC, but he did not give him receivers. When you
did not give receivers.
Start with Charles Johnson,
the life of the black man. The life of the black man. We go work with what you got, man. Like make it work. Like
number one receiver was Charles Johnson. Then it was James Thrash.
Make it work. And he still got to the NFC Championship game.
I know. It boggles your mind that dude was able to pass for like 3,000 or 4,000 yards.
That's why he
James Thrash and Charles Johnson.
That's why he is one of the greatest, dude. That's why if people don't look at it that way. They don't look at it that way.
I mean, he did throw dirt balls. You got to give him that respect. He did throw some dirt balls.
I'll take the 4 dirt balls a game, dude. That dude was winning, man. McNabb was winning with his little tiny pitter-pat steps. Like, that dude was winning.
Little butterball. All right, last but not least, I got to throw this at you before we get going. Man, we've gone a long time tonight, but here's the trivia. So Eagles have drafted 7 edge rushers or defensive ends in the first round since sacks became official in 1982. Has any of them ever have 12 sacks in a season of those that they have drafted in the first round?
First round. 12 sacks in a season?
Correct.
I don't think Brandon Graham had no 12 sacks, did he?
No.
Trent Cole wasn't first round, was he?
He was 5th round.
Jeez. Drafted in the first round?
So has anybody since 1982 drafted in the first round by the Eagles as a defensive end or defensive or an edge rusher? Has any of them had 12 sacks in a season or more?
Reggie wasn't drafted, was he?
He came from the
CFL or
the CFL, yeah, or the whatever it's called, the USFL.
Damn, dude, no, I don't think so.
That is correct. None of them have it. So here's a look at the group and their single season sack high. Mike Mamula, 8.5. Here's your boy. Ready, your boy? John Harris. 1 sack in a season. 1. Jerome McDougal. 2 sacks in a season. Brandon Graham, his highest sack total, 11. Just
he was right there, yeah.
Right there. Your boy Marcus Smith, 2.5 sacks.
Yeah.
Derek Barnett, Mr. Yellow Flag himself, 6.5 sacks. And Nolan Smith, 6.5 sacks. For their career, Graham has 79.5. Derek Barnett, believe it or not, has 34 sacks as an Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Boggles my mind. He actually had more than Mamula at 31.5, which, by the way, 31.5 was more than I thought Mamula had. He was probably not as bad as we think.
He was on the Eagles during a bad time though.
He's on a bad time, but he also, I think, when we traded up and we lost Warren Sapp, that was never going to work in his favor.
Right.
He actually was not bad for what he did. He just wasn't first roundish. He didn't play like a first round. If he did it in the second or third round, that guy would have been a miracle here.
Right.
All right, so that's all we have, ladies and gentlemen. That is our wrap-up of free agency. Of course, we'll talk a little bit more, but here, we are going to be back, just to let everybody know, we are going to be back on April 21st as the NFL draft is the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. I'm actually going to be in New York that weekend, but I'll be looking at all of the good details while I'm up there. So we'll see you on April 21st and April 22nd. So April 21st will be our NFL draft preview. April 28th will be our NFL draft wrap-up, including free agency, and we'll talk a little bit more about Eagles deadlines on May 1st and June 1st. Maybe we'll have an AJ situation. Maybe we won't. Either way, catch us out on X, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, and all the other social media platforms here at Fly Eagles Fly Podcast and also on Broad Street Misery. As always, I'm Corey Alexander along with
Jay Bliss.
And we will see you in April. Thank you for tuning in. Good night.
Go Birds.